Welcome in, comrades. My name is Jack Sperry, and this is the Commanders Report. Today on the show, I'm going to be revealing my perfect NFL draft plan for the Washington Commanders. Now, pretty much what that is, guys, is that I'm going to be doing a best-case scenario mock based on what's kind of realistic for the Commanders, who could fall in the NFL draft. Can't wait to break it down with you. This is a really fun video. But first, if you want to help us grow the Commanders Report here, we just got the full-time channel here from Chat Sports. We're trying to grow this Commanders family. So if you want to retweet on Twitter, you can go ahead and share this video, and I will give you a retweet. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to click that share button down below here on YouTube. You got to select the Twitter icon, and then you got to click post to Twitter, and then you have to tag me. This one's really, really important, guys. You have to tag me at Jack_Sperry, and then I will give you a retweet on my Twitter. So before we get into this, I want to give a little disclaimer here. This is a best case scenario type mock draft. So this is kind of designed to be a bit less realistic and focus more on the ideal. I want to see if the Commanders had their way in this year's NFL draft, what would that look like? What would that draft plan look like? So without further ado, let's just jump right into this best case scenario mock here. And in round one, I have the Commanders taking Oregon cornerback Christian Gonzalez. And he is the number one draft target on my Commanders big board right now because I think he is a perfect fit for what Ron Rivera wants to do on defense. We all know that Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera, they like to run a lot of off-zone coverage here in Washington. Christian Gonzalez played in a system with the Oregon Ducks where all they played was, guess what? Off-zone coverage. You take a look at his stats from last year. 4 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, 1 tackle for loss, and 50 tackles. This guy has the prototypical size and athleticism that you look for in a number one lockdown cornerback in the National Football League. And if you take a look at the Commanders depth chart, I think they've got some pretty solid pieces. Kendall Fuller had a good year for the Commanders last year. They bring in Dantzler from the Minnesota Vikings in free agency. I like St. Juice. I'm still a bit of a believer in St. Juice, but you bring in a guy like Christian Gonzalez, and he's on a completely different level. He gives you a true lockdown cornerback one to anchor the secondary for the next decade. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Who is your ideal round one pick for the Washington Commanders this year? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get an ad break, go into the comment section, find that pinned comment. It'll be right there at the top and answer today's question. Then in round two, I have Eric Bieniemy getting his Travis Kelce 2.0 here and Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid. Now, will he be here in round two? Not too sure. I guess we'll have to see on that. But, he is a really, really special talent. You take a look at what the tight end situation is in Washington. Logan Thomas is he's not fantastic. And John Bates, Cole Turner, I really don't think they're going to be doing much. But if you get a guy like Dalton Kincaid, whoever your quarterback's going to be, whether it be Jacoby Brissett, Sam Howell, or somebody that you draft, Dalton Kincaid is the best receiving weapon at the tight end position in this year's draft class. And personally, I don't think it's close. Now, is he the next Kelce? Because people are comparing him to Travis Kelce and all these things. And Eric Bieniemy, of course, he's coming from the Chiefs. He's going to want this type of receiving type tight end. Personally, I just don't think anyone compares to Travis Kelce. I think he's kind of a one-of-one unicorn type of player. But if Eric Bieniemy wants to fill that Travis Kelce role where you have that tight end that likes to play in the slot and really get a lot of targets, Dalton Kincaid can fill that role for you, and he can probably do that for you on day one. I think he's a fantastic prospect, and if he's there in round two, I think he will be the pick for the Washington Commanders. Then in round three, pick number 97 here, I have the Commanders going offensive line here with Syracuse's Matthew Bergeron. Now, Bergeron is very, very interesting to me because most people see him as an offensive tackle. I'm actually drafting him to see where he fits. His pros are he's got great size at 6'5", 322 pounds, and he's a great mover at that size. So in this kind of inside zone heavy kind of run game that Eric Bieniemy is going to be bringing in, he's got that athleticism, and he's got enough juice in the tank there if they want to run outside zone, all that different kind of of stuff. He can do that. He's a very smart player, picks up stunts really well, and he has pretty darn good balance in his feet. The big thing for him, though, is hand placement. He has a ton of holding penalties when he gets built, and personally, I don't think he's really a mauler. I don't think he's going to fit into a power blocking scheme, so those are kind of the cons on him, but I think that he could fit potentially as an offensive tackle, either on the left or right side, but if that doesn't work out for you, I think that he has a nice floor as a solid offensive guard. I think if you take a look at what the Commanders are looking at right now with their offensive line, it's okay, but it can certainly get better. Andrew Norwell had kind of a disappointing season last year. Andrew Wiley, you pay him in free agency, but he's not really a fantastic right tackle. You would like to get an upgrade there. Charles Leno Jr., we'll see how he does at left tackle this next year. But I think if you get Matthew Bergeron, I think he fits somewhere in this group. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't start, you got a very nice swing player that can play either tackle or guard at the next level. Those pieces are extremely valuable at the NFL level. So I think Matthew Bergeron's a great fit for the Washington Commanders. Then in round 4, I got Jartavius Martin, a defensive back, kind of a hybrid safety cornerback. I like to call him Brian Branch light, even though I think he's actually a little bit faster than Brian Branch here in round 4. I think this is an absolute steal if the Commanders can land this guy in round 4. He's currently the number 2 safety on my big board right now, just behind Brian Branch. Like, this guy can play nickel cornerback for you. He can play free safety if you want that. He's definitely fast enough to play free safety. He's 195 pounds, so he's big enough to play in the box if you really want him to as well. 64 tackles last year and 3 interceptions. And that Illinois defense, man, it was just stacked with really great defensive back talent. Devin Witherspoon, Sidney Brown. Jartavius Martin kind of got lost in the fold there in that excellent Illinois defense, but I think at the NFL level, he's really going to shine. I think the Commanders are getting a huge steal in round 4 by taking this guy here at the start of day 3. All right, guys, go ahead, do me a favor and follow me on Twitter here if you want additional Commanders content. I put up a bunch of different stuff on my Twitter at Jack_Sperry. So if you want to give me a follow up there, I would sincerely appreciate it. You can check it out here. And then I also have a brand new Commanders page up on Twitter where I'm going to be putting up just exclusively Commanders stuff. So if you want to follow my normal NFL stuff, go to at Jack_Sperry. But if you want more Washington Commanders specific stuff on Twitter, go to at Sperry_Hogs. And for every follow that I get on Sperry_Hogs, my Commanders page, I will give you a follow back. So if you want that extra Commanders comment, go to at Sperry_Hogs to get an extra follower on Twitter today. Then we get into round 5. Let's kind of put this into high gear here. Ivan Pace Jr., inside linebacker from the Cincinnati Bearcats. And this guy is one of my bigger sleeper players in this year's NFL draft. In my opinion, Washington needs linebacker help, and they need guys that can cover really well. So they need good athletes. Jamin Davis, he's a really great athlete, pretty good tackler, but here's the thing, guys, he's not very good in coverage. He's just not. And then you bring in a guy like Cody Barton, who's okay in coverage, but I still think you can add a little bit of help. And then on the bench there, I don't think there's much help whatsoever, but you get a pure athlete, and Ivan Pace Jr. Take a look at his stats last year, man. 136 tackles, 20.5 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. This guy's a great blitzer, and he's pretty darn good in pass coverage as well. He's still a little bit raw. Sometimes in the run game, he can kind of go in the wrong lanes and different run fits and all these different things, but I think that he's a very good moldable inside linebacker piece here, where on day 3, he could potentially start for you on day 1. I think he's a really great steal here for the Commanders in round 5. Then you get a quarterback here. We finally pick a quarterback here, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think if he falls to round 6, that's probably where I would take him. I think he's probably going to go a little bit higher than round 6. I think that he's probably going to be more of a round 4, round 5 kind of guy, and he's going to be a true backup on day 1 because I think that he's good enough to do that. When you take a look at the Commanders' quarterback depth chart right now, Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell are your contenders to be the starter. Right now, I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson probably starts the year as the backup to either one of those guys. But if you go through the season and Brissett and Howell just aren't getting it done, Dorian Thompson-Robinson has enough talent and enough smarts and the ability to improve year in and year out. He improved every year in college. I think that he has the potential to come in late in the season and kind of save the Commanders' season if they really need it. Ron Rivera's job is on the line here, guys. I think they need to make the playoffs or he's gone with a new owner coming in. He needs to prove prove his worth in 2023. And you got to get the quarterback right here. I'm not sure if I trust Will Levis or trading up for an Anthony Richardson, but getting a Dorian Thompson-Robinson on day 3, I think is a great value. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. When should the Commanders draft a quarterback, if at all, in this year's NFL draft class? Type 1 for day 1, type 2 for day 2, type 3 for day 3. If you don't think they should draft one at all, just type none. All right, coming up here on round 6, the second 6th round pick here for the Commanders, Deuce Vaughn, running back out of Kansas State. And here's the thing about Deuce Vaughn, guys. You just can't tackle him. He's just too tiny. Like, he's 5'6", 176 pounds. But, man, this guy is extremely quick. You just can't put your hands on him, man. He's fast. He's got good agility, and he's a really, really natural runner. He's got a great feel for the position, and he's actually a really good receiver out of the backfield. You take a look at the Commanders' running back depth chart right now. I actually think they're in a pretty good shape right here. Brian Robinson is really played well in his rookie season. Antonio Gibson, somebody that I really like as well. Jonathan Williams is a good backup as well, and Jarrett Patterson I think is a good depth piece. Like I'm not sure if they need a running back to add to this group. But Ron Rivera has said that they're going to add another running back at some point this offseason. And why not Deuce Vaughn, who I think could be that true third down back for you in obvious passing situations. I think he's a good receiver. You can't really tackle him. I think he's a good third piece to that Washington running back room. Then finally here in round 7, I'm going to round things out here with Emil Achior Jr. I hope I'm saying that right here at number 233 overall. Plain simply, if you need an interior offensive lineman in this year's draft, it's going to be tough for you, man. I'm not a huge fan of really many of these guys. I'm a big fan of John Michael Schmitz, but that's really about it. In this interior offensive line class. I think it's kind of a weak class, but you can get a guy like Emil who is athletic enough to play in the zone running scheme that Eric Bieniemy is bringing in at 6'3", 307 pounds. He's going to be a little bit of a project, might not be a day 1 starter, but you can develop him a little bit. I think he's got that athleticism that you look for, and I think he'd be a good investment for the Commanders in round 7. You take a look at the complete draft haul here for my perfect NFL draft plan for your Washington Commanders. You get your number 1 lockdown cornerback in Christian Gonzalez in round 1. Hopefully the next Travis Kelce for Eric Bieniemy there at Dalton Kincaid in round 2. Then Matthew Bergeron, going to be probably a starting offensive lineman somewhere for you in 2023. If not, you get some good depth. Jartavius Martin, one of the biggest steals and sleepers in this year's NFL draft class in round 4. Ivan Pace Jr. to round out your inside linebacker room. Dorian Thompson-Robinson to come in as another quarterback option for you in 2023. Deuce Vaughn, an untackleable running back option there to go behind Gibson and Robinson, and then Emil Achior Jr. to kind of be a developmental interior offensive lineman prospect for the future. That's going to be it for today's video. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you enjoyed today's video, and make sure that you make sure you subscribe here to make sure that we keep growing this channel. We're trying to really move these things up here at the Commanders Report. And before I go here, one last ask here. Go ahead and grade this perfect draft plan that I have for the Washington Commanders. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or if you think I'm just a complete idiot, give me an F in the comment section. I sincerely appreciate the support. I'll see you guys later. Peace.